Here are the tools and materials you'll need to tie the parachute Adams. I want to show you guys how I prepared the materials and where they came from for this fly. It's a size 16 fly. My general practice is to get one hackle size larger for a parachute than I would if I was just going to use, say, a size 16 and wrap it around. That would be okay if I was going to wrap it around this way, but for a parachute wrapped around this way, I want two sizes or a size larger than that. Here's how I prepare the hackle. Okay, first thing, it's a size 16 fly, so I want to use a size 14 hackle, and that's where I got this hackle, size 14. Now, I didn't have another 100 pack like this, so I took the size 14 off of this neck, and I had to search through here to get the right size hackle. And the way I got the right size hackle was I used it on this, like that. That's how I determined the right size for the brown and grizzly hackle. Now, as far as the tailing goes, and this part is kind of tricky, and I had an operation on my left thumb, and it's not as strong as the other one, so I need to use my right thumb. But essentially what I do is meld these two together like this, okay? Align the tips of the barbules together, and then with the left hand rip away, and that way you get the hackle that you want. I didn't do that expertly. I needed to even up the tips, but that's essentially the way it's done. The arrow dry wing comes in 4 bunches. I took 2 of those, and that made up the wing. To create the dubbing, you just clip the guard hairs and underfur of the muskrat, put it in a coffee grinder and grind it up just a little bit. It mixes it up real well. There are other ways to do it, but this is, I think, the coolest. This is the parachute Adams. Possibly this fly has been responsible for more trout being caught than any other dry fly. Tie in the thread and wrap it back. It makes a good base for the tail and the body. As mentioned earlier, go ahead and prepare the tail. Tie it in with a pinch wrap. Be sure to pull up on the thread to secure the tail on the top of the hook shank. Continue to wrap. Make sure the tail is secure. I always go one under to cock it up slightly. Go ahead and trim it off. And wrap that down as neatly as you can. And now it's time for the wing. Tie it in, another pinch wrap, Again, be sure and pull up on that. Now you want to cut off the back portion with a taper so you can start to establish a taper on the body. Wrap those down as well as you can. Then come back and prepare the wing. Go ahead and wrap a few to stand the wing up. And then go ahead and prepare a base for the wing. I'm getting pretty cavalier here. You should make sure that you anchor that before the wing flips over and you lose all of your wraps. And don't let any of those wing fibers get in the way. They really get in the way of the hackle if you leave them splayed out. There you go. Now build up the base so you have a good substrate for the hackle to be wound around. That looks pretty good. There's a reason I cut this hackle off. One, if it's really long, it gets in the way of winding the hackle and doing some other things. And also, even though these are size 14, they still taper a little bit. You want to make sure that the two hackles have the same length barbules. I pretty much generally tie in with the concave side towards the wing because I want the hackle to sweep up instead of down when it's wrapped around the base of the wing.
And what does that do for you?
I want the hackle to sweep up so it lowers the body further into the film. That way it acts more like a newly hatched dun that is more vulnerable. Must have had too much coffee this morning. Seems like I'm doing the jitterbug here. Go ahead and twist the dubbing on the thread for the body. I like to take those and kind of turn them sideways. You want it really mixed up. You don't want all the fibers going in one direction. You want them going in all different directions. Again, just go ahead and roll that on there. Works real well. Make sure you've got space to go back to in front of the wing or the tail. If you've tapered the dubbing properly, you'll end up with a nice profile. Wrap again and leave the thread hanging on your side. Go ahead and wind the hackle. So now I may have gotten a little carried away with this grizzly hackle. Probably didn't need to make this many turns as I'm going to make. So again, tie it off to the base. Traditionally, the Parachute Adams has a head, but I don't think it's necessary. I like to think of the eye of the hook as the head. A little bit of medium super glue. The thin works a little bit better, but it's kind of scary to use sometimes. It'll just absorb into everything if you put too much on. So over the body, under, over the body, under. Make sure it's tight. Clean up the stray barbules a bit. Trim the wing. And there's your Parachute Adams.